newly released police report from the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department indicated that there were some questionable things found in Michael Jackson's home back in 2003. Now, this report was leaked, or I should say reported, by Radar Online, which I will be clear is a news source that I do not trust. However, since they had put up these documents online and I was able to look through them myself, I realized there was some damning evidence in the police reports that was worth mentioning on the show, which is why we initially did the story. Now, Michael Jackson's estate has responded to those allegations, and they are saying, no, there was not child pornography found in Michael Jackson's home, as was reported by Radar Online and several other sources, by the way. In fact, here is what Vanity Fair reported as an update to their story about this. They say a representative from Michael Jackson's estate reached out to Vanity Fair and said everything in these reports, including what the county of Santa Barbara calls content that appears to be obtained off the internet or through unknown sources, is false. Vanity Fair also reports that some of the documents appear to be copies of reports that were authored by Sheriff's Office personnel, as well as evidentiary photographs taken by Sheriff's Office personnel interspersed with content that appears to be obtained off the internet or through unknown sources. So let me stop right there. So you look through all of these documents that Radar Online posted, and in between you see documents that appear to be from the sheriff's office, right? But they're not. It's actually information that they found online. So
some of them.
Some of them, not all of it, some of it. Now I'm going to get to the specifics of what was included in the police report, so you guys know what was reported by cops and what was not.
So
okay?
Let me just weigh in here on a couple of things. So Esquire, Vanity Fair, us, so many media organizations reported on this yesterday based on Radar Online. I actually have no opinion of Radar Online, whether they're reputable or not. I previously had really no thoughts on that. Now, I think they did one thing clearly wrong here. They should have separated out the stuff they got from the sheriff's office and stuff that they got from online and made it clear what was what. So that's not cool. Now that's all gone around the world as one big thing. Now that doesn't mean they didn't get anything from the sheriff's office, and that doesn't mean that story is wrong, but it does require far more nuance in explaining that, and that's why we're all, Vanity Fair, us, etc., doing an update on it.
Yes. Now, with that said, when we originally did the story, we reported that there were images of children that were nude or semi-nude. Now, the thing that we did wrong, because it was reported by everyone else, and the police, what appeared to be the police report indicated it was child pornography, but it was not actually classified as child pornography, even though, let me repeat, these images were of children who were either nude or semi-nude. Now, just because they're images of nude children doesn't necessarily mean it constitutes as child pornography, which I find interesting. It could be considered art, right? So the children's pictures that were nude or semi-nude were included in some books, right? Let me give you examples. Room to Play by Simon Johann is one of them, and it just shows images of people between the ages of 2 to, elderly people, aging. It's about human anatomy. So you do see naked bodies of children, but it's not considered pornography. Another example was Chronos by Pierre Formaguera, and that I think is a little more questionable, but again, it did not constitute as child pornography. It was basically sexualized images of children superimposed on adults' bodies, nude bodies.
Yeah, but okay, guys. So I know. Like I read in the story yesterday that some of the books were from the 1800s. So this one's a little. You say tomato, I say tomato. There might, if you go into the New York Public Library and you find a book like that and you scream pornography. Now wait a minute. This is among many books and yada yada. If you go into a guy's house you're investigating for pedophilia because there's been dozens of charges, and there are conveniently things that are technically not classified as pornography, but has young children that are nude, but that's okay because it's from the 1800s. Just because something's from the 1800s doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's like, by definition, art, because it's from a long time ago, right? There still might be the same reason he had it. So let's keep it real. You have to report, the things that they got from online that aren't necessarily the sheriff's department, et cetera. But you also have to keep it real about the stuff that he had in there. Some people are so blinded by whatever side they're on. And so the pro Michael Jackson people are like, no, it's all art. It's all art. Yeah, anybody could have been sleeping with boys in the same bed all the time, been charged dozens of times, and happened to have pictures of naked children, but it's from the 1800s. It's a total coincidence, and it's just art. Yeah, you say tomato, I say tomato.
So, look, I just want you guys to have all the accurate information possible. There were a few tiny errors in how we reported the original story, but that was because the initial report was, I think, purposely made confusing to kind of over-sensationalize the story, right? The other thing that I wanted to add was that the part that we reported indicating that some were arguing that this material could be used to groom children was not something that was made up. That was actually included in the police documents, okay? So when they did the raid and they found these nude images of kids, even though it didn't constitute as child pornography, the cops did say this could be used to groom kids for, you know, molestation, sexual assault, whatever. We didn't make that up. And I want to be clear about that. I have no interest in finding him guilty or bringing up the past or making him seem like a bad guy, but I do have interest in giving you guys the accurate information. So that's why we're doing this update, giving you the accurate information. You do what you want to do with it.
Okay, look, I'm going to say two more things about this. Number one, apparently you guys all want us to have an investigator at every scene. And I would love to do that. So tytnetwork.com/join. If we have more members, then we'll have more investigative reporters. But if you think like you broke a story by realizing that we cover what is in the news, congratulations. You're right. That's what we do. We don't have an investigative reporter at every scene. So if Esquire, Vanity Fair, every other publication says, yes, what Radar Online is reporting is true, that they got this from the Sheriff's Department, we, like those organizations, run it. They have a lot more reporters. We have Jordan Chariton, who's our field reporter in politics. He's broken dozens of stories in this campaign cycle. Give me another one. Okay, give me 3, give me 5. I'm happy. I would love to do that. Give me 2 in entertainment, give me 7 in sports, give me 12 in politics. Let's go investigate the hell out of stuff. For the moment being, we do some investigative stories and we largely do commentary based on the reports that we have. But we don't have a horse in this race. I told you yesterday, that's my second point, that I liked Michael Jackson. I didn't want to believe that this stuff was true. And I was the only one, I think, we were, to not sensationalize it. And I said, if you watch our original video on it, I said, look, half of this stuff is, they say, oh, wow, it's gay art. So what? You're allowed to have gay art in your house?
Yeah.
You know, and I said, oh, it's S&M. So what? You're allowed to be an S&M. We're the only ones who said that. We try really hard to present both sides, and yes, sometimes we reach conclusions based on the evidence that we have. And yes, we keep an open mind so that if new evidence or new information comes in, we also take that into account. So if you'd like us to have more reporters in the field, I love you, brother. I can't wait to do it. tytnetwork.com/join, because we're powered by you guys. You give us more power, we'll have more reporters, and you'll be amazed at the stories that we break. So let's all do it together. That's independent media.